Alrighty, folks, it's time to finish this thing up. And by that I mean it's not time to finish because there's still like 15 puzzles to go and there's no way I'm doing them all in one video. So let's jump in and let's just grab something. Doesn't really matter. Um, boy oh boy. Choosing one to start with that... Huh. Well... I'm just trying to see if there's anything that jumps out to me as this is move number one. I don't think so. So we got the compass rule. The Palisade rule, I'm just going to pretend we all know what those mean. Well, okay, that definitely is happening. We don't have a Solitude rule, so I could easily take this. If I didn't take that, If I said this is a new system, or this here system, a new area, this wasn't belonging to the purple I just set up. I need 6 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all of them right there. So I would have to take literally all of these, which isn't gonna happen. Actually, before we even get to that, this piece here against a wall can only have one wall, already has one wall. So it is like this. So if I took this as a new piece, it can only take 4, so it can't, it's gotta be purple. Excellent. So either this piece has corners here or it has corners there. Right? It can't be this type of corner because now we have purple on both sides. And it can't be that because purple on both sides. But if this was the wall, what would happen? I don't know. Actually, hold on. This purple region can't extend any more of these. See, the thing about these guys, the ones with just the 9s and the 16s, is that I can do all sorts of bullshit to get to that 16, so it's not super helpful. This guy with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All but 2. Oh, I should probably also take these corners immediately. So if this was a new section, if it wasn't part of this, we would have to take... We might not have to take that piece, but we would have to take all of these. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the question is, this would need 16 to the left, this would need 13 to the left. That is possible to do. Because we just need 13 left of this, and then 3 in here. That's all we would need. Well, it would take this piece. If we took that one, we would take this piece. However, if we did it this way, well, we couldn't. We'd have to take, if we did this here. Well, if we made this the same color, now the issue is we've got to take 4 more. If we take this piece, we can't take that one. So we'd have to get back down here somehow, which seems possible, but it's just a little bit more challenging to do, unless we blocked it here and came through and made it more challenging. I don't know, that's challenging, whereas this here, Dang, I wish these numbers weren't just compatible, because then this would be a much easier choice to make. But that's probably why the puzzle is rated at a 7. Is it's supposed to be hard. And I'm gonna have to try. Can I figure anything else out about these guys here? There's a lot of symbols in here. I've got 2 straightaway symbols here. Why do I have 2? Now, I suppose if I made this my collection here, we would have to bring this all the way through. We'd have to block these, and then wouldn't give me an immediate answer. Whereas if I did it this way, right, then I'd have to put the wall here. This would have to be one thing, and this would have to be yet another, which would go here. And then this would be yet another. And are we okay with this as a species? I don't know. So, yeah, I guess if I decide that this corner piece right here is purple, it's with this group, then I have to put it here. I have to put a piece there, because there has to be a wall somewhere. This now is a new region, so there's a wall here. Now the challenge is I need 12 pieces above. I've got 4. I need 8 more pieces above, and only 2 more to the left, so it'd be these 2. I would have to take these, and then I would need 6 more pieces on the top. 1 like this. I wouldn't be able to grab that one. I'd have to grab this here, and then I would be done. I wouldn't have any way to make the 12 happen. So I think using math, we have to make this the second region like so, which means we do need to take these here. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 above. Can't take that. I think we have to do this. Now, we could make this part of the yellow, or we could make it a new region here. Doesn't matter. I still need 6 pieces above. I could bend this down, although it makes things more challenging because then I wouldn't be able to go up again. Or I could bend this up and start taking it up here like so. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'd get a lot out of that. We'd also bring that way or something. We can also bring up through here. We in fact need to, because we need 2 more pieces, right? Well, hold on. Let's go back for just a second. I think I can prove... Wait, hold on. First of all, this wall right here, oops, this wall I put in, I think has to be there. Because if we put this block in, right, this has to be the wall, and then because this is a straightaway here, that's a wall. But if we do it this way, then these straightaways go here. We can't put that in. So either way, there's a wall there. Now, don't know if there's a wall there. The question is, do I just take these 2 no matter what? So if I made this purple, we have this, we have to take those 2. That's good. If I make this the non-purple, whatever color I choose, I'm just picking yellow now, I can bring this around, right? I still need 2 from over here. If I somehow didn't take this one, how would I get over here without overloading the 12? I'd have to do this, bring this up. I wouldn't be able to bring it left, I'd have to bring up again. This would be a dead end. We wouldn't be able to take anymore. If I bring down, then I'm never getting through here. It's not happening. So I'd have to bring it up. If I brought it this way, we're talking some serious mistakes here. I think we have to take these 2. And that's going to solve our... Oops, let's just issue here. I think we have to take these 2 no matter what, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ready. In fact, if I do this, I think it's the full complete set. It works out really nicely. So either that means it's the correct thing, or I'm being baited very hard, and I could be either of those. Now this 9 is a little more challenging. Ah, this 2 actually has to take both of these, so the 9 and the 2 have to be connected. Isn't that fun? Alright, so these 2 go together, because there's no way that's the purple. It's not going to happen. So the 9, this we need 6 down here, which means we need only 1 more piece below this 9 in this row. The rest all have to come from below. Which means to get this 10 to the right, we're going to grab some pieces from the top row, right? Because if I grab 6 pieces, let's pretend the palisades don't exist. We grab 6 pieces like so. The most I've done is grab 5 from over here. I could actually grab more if I did it this way. Again, ignoring everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 7 pieces, right? To get 6. I still need 3 more to the right, but I can't take any more from here because we'll overload this 9, so they have to be from the top. I need at least 3 on the top. Possibly more, because if I do it, you know, this type of thing, it's not going to work. So I think we have this set up. I think this is what it's going to be. We've got to bring this out. And now, if I bring this down, like I could bring this over and make this the thing, right? So I've got 5, 8 in here, right? I need 4 more above. I could bring it over 1, 2, 3. That's it. I would still need 1 above, and I could just say that's it and we end it. Can't I? I don't think so. Well, if I do this, then we have a problem with this dead end, because it can't be yellow. We'd have to have another color for this dead end. And now what is this? This needs to go like so, and it needs to bend here, and now this straightaway doesn't work. So no to this. So I think we really do have it like so. And then this is the corner. This is a new piece, and it comes up. 1, 2... okay, so what we can do here... I think this actually is the yellow. And then I've got 1, 2, 3. I can take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can do this. This completes the shape. And then we get it. Oh, hold on a second. Are these shapes? They're not symmetrical. They're not the same shape but rotated. Because that way this shape here can be this one, right? Because now this has to be like so, right? And we need this to connect. And then we can do this sort of thing, if that makes any sense at all. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can I take this down? That's just it? Okay, that was weird. I don't like that puzzle. I don't like it. There's nothing wrong. This isn't one of those I don't like and I hate it and I think it's badly designed. I'm gonna draw that line because I am very vocal and I dislike a puzzle and I think it's badly designed. I don't think this was badly designed. It's just it kind of feels like the solve path through this is like stumbling my way to victory. I never at any point was really sure of what I was doing. Like I've been thinking more about how puzzles need to be, right? Because it's not good enough to simply make a puzzle that doesn't break the rules of puzzle design. So, for instance, you need to have one solution. You need to have a logic. It needs to be solved with logic, that kind of stuff. That's just the baseline. Like, I was thinking about, like, every time you have a person solving a puzzle, right? If you design a puzzle and someone's solving it, what you want is not only the person gets the logical progression through the puzzle, but every time they make a move, the person needs to have a vision in their head of what that move does, right? I'm going to go to point-and-click adventures, for example. So let's say I have a point-and-click adventure game and I have a locked door somewhere. In my mind, I'm going to go, I need to get through that door, right? That's what I need to do. And if the door is locked, my first impression will be, I need to find a key, come back to the door, and unlock it, right? And so the designer could say, that's exactly what the puzzle solution is. Let's make sure the game player, their first impression is correct. They got to go find the key, come back to the door. In which case, I've come to the door, I've made an inference. Not only do I understand the puzzle, so to speak, but I know what it looks like when I finish the puzzle. I know what a key looks like. I know that when I get to the door, the key will fit in the door. I can imagine the door opening, right? Conversely, the puzzle designer might say they want to do a trick. And they say, actually, the gap under the door is large enough to fit a person. So instead of opening the door, the puzzle is you have to see yourself going under it. In which case, when I come in and I see the door that's locked and think I need a key, I still have a vision in my head of what needs to happen, even though my vision is wrong. But either way, the designer has made a thing that I can look at and make an inference, right or wrong, and I can imagine in my head what'll happen. And in both cases, I'm describing real games. Games with keys to unlock doors are numerous, but there is a real game, a real point-and-click adventure that used the door under the door trick. It's called Riven. It's the sequel to Myst. There is a door that's locked. When you click on the door, it shakes, and a lot of players get stuck because they think, I need a key. But the gap under the door is huge. All you got to do is click down there. Now, some people are like, this is kind of cheap shot because who would think to do that? But at the same time, like, just click there and you'll see you can go there. You don't have to do anything. You can just crawl under the door because it's like 2 feet of space. You can fit just fine. But either way, the puzzle designer is relying on you, the player, having an image in your head of what will happen. And this puzzle I just played doesn't have that thing. Even though I solved the puzzle without too much trouble, I did it quite quickly. In fact, I think I've talked about it for more than half the length of time I played it. It's not that hard to me. Someone else might find it crazy difficult. But it was the idea of like I faced a door and I just for some reason didn't think about keys at all, or I looked at a door and didn't think somehow that door needs to be open. I didn't have in my head this solution was never in my head, and it needs to be in my head. Even if the thing in my head is wrong, I need to have something in my head, right? So I really dislike that. I dislike that puzzle because it just kind of felt like I didn't envision the solution. I stumbled on it. So even though I got there, I didn't get there by anything in my own brain. I got there just by kind of clicking on things. Yeah, so maybe you were luckier if you played this puzzle and you got to the solution with your giant space brain, but that certainly wasn't my experience with it. How about this one? Solitude Compass. I can appreciate one of these guys. Okay. So first things first, I see some zero. Okay, well, a zero here is pretty obvious. I see some zeros here, which tells me that whatever's in this space is going to be a challenge. We've only got 9 regions to do. Right, so if whatever this region is, it can't be here. This region also can't be here. Neither can any of these. They don't have nearly the space. Yeah, this region could be all the way to the left, but in order to get there, it has to go around so far that it'll break. So I think the only region that can get here is this one. Right? I think this is the only one that can make it into there. And yeah, can this one go? Because it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. That would overload it. So this region has to go there. And it must come through the bottom. Because if it comes through the top, right, if we put a wall there for some reason, like this is a slightly lighter color. If we put a wall here, then this region will never have something above it, because to go around would overload the 2. So we've got to have this go down. Doesn't mean it can't go up as well. Who's going to go there? That's trickier. Can it be this one? I think this has to be this region as well. Can't be orange, because orange would overload the 1 no matter what happens to get up there. We can't reach from any of these other guys. It's got to be the blue, which means that the blue has to move in this way. We got to move in that way. The orange is essentially complete. We can take some pieces, you know, straight down if we want. But now the 7, it can't. It's got to take this piece. If the 7 doesn't take this 7, if the blue doesn't take this piece, right, then we have a problem. We're gonna have an issue. Actually, no. Can we do it this way and then something else? No, there's nobody else can reach over here, right? Well, hold on. If I go like this, now that's 7 pieces, so I can't have any more up or down. I'd have to do it this way. And I could take this, I could be like this just fine. So if I did it the other way, if I put the wall here, then I would need... I still need 1 to the left. I can't take that piece. This would have to be a new region, right? That would just have to be a new region, which means we would be stuck. So yes, it takes these, which means it has to take that one because the orange can't. Orange has to take these. This is where that ends. So I can't take that piece. That is now a new region. We'll make that red. Let's make it red. It's got to come in this way. Now we need 3 below and 4 to the right. So we're going to have to take these 2 at least. Red's got to come out again, and we got to do that, and that's the end of the blue region. Red's got to come out this way. And red's probably this fella, because this one would obviously overload. It's got to take that one, I think. Yeah, the red, we can just do the math. Which one does the red touch? It's not going to touch that one. It's not going to touch this. It's not going to touch that. 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 So it's this one here. So we've got to take both of these. So then we've got 8 pieces above so far. So I need 2 to the right and 4 more above. So who's going to touch this region here? It can't be this blue. It overloads because this blue is done. It can't be this piece, so it's got to be red. So now we've got, out of the 11, 9 of them are above. So 3 more and 2 to the right. Now whatever this region is here has got to grab either that or that. Now this here, we can't take these two regions because now I still have only 9 above. I need 3 more above, but there's only 2 more above that aren't to the right, so I can't take both of those. Can I take like this? No. Yeah, if I put a wall here, I would need to grab both of them like so. This would complete the red region, but now there's an orphaned region down there. So there can't. So this has to be 1, but we can't take both. We have to take that one here. So I need to have. I still need 3 above. How's this gonna work? 1, 2, 3. This would complete the picture, and now this green can't grab anything to the left. Because we can't do some weird thing like this. It's got to grab this piece. If I can't grab both of these. If I do it this way, we don't have enough. We would have to do it like so. We'd have to do here, and then we couldn't take any more. We'd be out. So I think we have to take that. This here still doesn't fill it in. I still need another piece. Where am I going to get it from? Is there another way I could have arranged this? Oh yeah, there's another way I could arrange this. Hold on. We can bring the red up here. Now, we just bring the blue through, and the blue can go up 1 more piece. Duh. And now we have a better shot here. So red still has to go there. So I've got 11, so I only want 1 more piece up. So I can't do this because then we're going to overload the 12. But now I could do this and put this piece in like so. I could do it here. Could I put a wall here? If I put a wall here, that means I got to take that piece and I'd be done. And then we'd be screwed there. So we do have to take both of these now. So either that or that, but not these. Which means it isn't this piece or any of these. So these two have to be on the green I've just created. So the question is, if I take this piece, I can't take that one, so I gotta get my... hold on. There's only 5 pieces below, so it's that. I've got 3 here. This has to be the green because this can't reach it. It could reach here, though. I've got 4. I can take 2 more pieces this direction. I could take these 2. I could take these 2. Hard to say. If I took them like this, these 2 would force... I think this would break because now I can't get any of these other guys down there, so this one would have to take those 2. So it can't be those. I have to take 2 of these 3. So it's either these 2 or these 2. That's the only option I have because we can't do it here. They aren't connected. So it means we have to take this one. That means the yellow is going to go there. So the question is, do we take it this way? Well, let me think about the 7 and the 5. If I go this direction, now I need 7 to the right, but only 5 above. So I'd have to grab 2 to the right that aren't above, like so. Or... yeah, if I did it this way, now I just need 5 above and to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but now this is orphaned. If I take this cell here, which I'm gonna have to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, unless I brought this down, but then we would be in a really weird position here. Trying to think about that. Whereas if I did it this way, I have to take these, and I've got 2 to the right that aren't above. But I can take this and that. So now we've got 3, we've got 1, we need 4 above, so we could easily do something like this, and it fits quite nicely. But either way, it's that. If I went this way, though, I would still need to take this. The only way out of it would be to do something like this. And then... do we have a prayer if I do it this way? We would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This still works. I'm afraid. I don't like that it works. We take 1. We take this 1. We have 2 above. 1, 2. We would just have a piece here. All right. Since that works, I'm starting to think that's actually the answer. So if I go the other way, I got to take this. We've got to take these 2. So now we still don't have to take this 1. Yeah, we would, because now to get 5 above, we have to get more than 7 across. So we'd have to take this here. So now we just need 4 above. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe? But how would I... Let's back up a bit. Maybe I need to start thinking about these other pieces here. Maybe that's the way to go. What's the farthest I can get with this one? 1, 2, 3. Seems to be the farthest we can go. 4, 5. Means I can't reach that one. I've got to reach out with this guy. That's got to go there. This piece has to be here. Well, now I've got... Yeah, this should work, because now above I need 7 more, because 9 minus 2, and 8 minus 1 is 7, so I just need 7 more pieces anywhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, I can take that one, but I obviously can't take it that way. Or that way. I could take it that way. I need 3 below, so I need something on this side, because I only have 2 spaces left here. And then 6 above. How many can I reach? These, we're going to have to figure out something up here. Do I take all of these? How do I get them from these as well? Ooh. So this space up here has got how many? We got 12 above here that I got to fill. So that means this 6 here can only take half of them. I need to grab 6 of these with somebody else here. 1, 2, 3. I can only take 1 of them with this. So I need 5 more. They're going to have to come from here. 5 of the 7 have to be out of this green one, which means I need to take this guy and this one, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like I can do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I can do this. Oh, hold on. Oh, but then I can't take any more of these. Shoot. Okay, well that was me guessing my way through, but that's the principle. I take, because if I don't take this, I need to take here, and then I can't get any of these filled in. Yeah, actually, even if I don't worry about that, how do I get? I have to get more pieces, and I need something to be here. What's it going to be? So this has to go here. We can't get that. That's got to be there. So I've got one. I can do it this way. This would be the one way to do it, because then I can fill this in. I can take all of these pieces, and now I just need 1 more down here. And this 4, I've got 8 spaces up here, so 4 of them need to be filled with this guy. Or you can do something like this too. But this seems like I'm not going to lock in, because I don't know. Maybe there's another way to do this. But this gives me the pieces I need to fill in. Because otherwise, if I don't fill in this way, if I were to say do this sort of thing, obviously it's not going to be, this wouldn't work. But now I need to get this up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this won't work because now I need to grab 2 pieces below. And now how do I get 6 to the left? There just aren't 6 to the left. So we've got to grab it this way here. There are 6 to the left here. But I'm not going to grab all of them because I have to take something like this. But how am I going to get 6 to the left? How would I get 3 below? without coming around this way. I'm not going to come around this way. But still, I need 3 more to the left here. Well, I could do it like... Let's not make this. Let's make this purple. I could do it like this. We've got 5 to the left, and now I can get a third one by doing this. I've got 4 above, so I can't go into here. Either this piece can't go in there, so it will be this piece going up there. 1, 2, 3. And so we do it is this solution, like so. And now yellow takes all of these. That's a good one. I like that one. See, that one I had in my head, that vision, as I was trying stuff, I was like, it needs to do X, Y, Z. Even though that vision isn't perfect, I don't look at this puzzle and see this solution immediately. But everything I'm making is for a reason that I see the future. Or at least I make an attempt to see the future. That's what I want to see. I've kind of breezed through those two. I didn't expect that, so I think I'd do it at least one more. Oh, what's this back here? Oh, whatever. How about this one? This is the one I was like, oh no, I need 2 50s that are exactly the same. Oh boy, so how am I going to do this? We gotta have a red and a blue. We know that for sure. Now, they both need to be the exact same shape. That's what is killer. Because I don't think there's anyone in the world who can look at this and figure out a way to divide, just on sight, this into 2 equal shapes that follow these palisades. I need some other thing to work from. Huh. Oh no, I might hate this one. Because I'm looking at this going, this looks like the guessing puzzle. Here's the guesser. Because it just kind of looks like I've got to take a stab. It's so open-ended. The type of puzzle that amateur designers think they're very clever for making because they're hard. And yes, they are hard puzzles. But again, I don't have a vision in my head for what I need to do and what needs to happen. Like, I know I need to solve 2 regions that are the same size and the same shape, but I don't have a vision in my head for what that looks like, and so I don't know where to start. And once I find the solution, it won't be because I looked at this puzzle and saw the place to work. It'll because I tried literally everything else until I finally got it to work. That's what this is going to be. I know it even as I look at it. So, can I determine what any of these palisades are just by looking at them? No, I can't. Unless there's some principle. That's the thing. This game so often relies on puzzle principles that you have to bring in from outside. Because I'm sure that there's people who'd go like, well, every time you have a puzzle like this is how you start. It's like, that's great. This game doesn't teach you that. So if you go into this game without knowing that, you have no hope of solving the puzzle correctly. Unless you leave the game, look up online how to solve puzzles like this. But I personally feel that if you're a good game designer, you don't require anyone to Google anything during your gameplay. So I'm going to assume I don't need to do that, and there's some principle that I have already used in this game that will come in handy. But I am coming up dry. Something to do with these? These 2 dead ends next to each other might be something. So, like, I'm just going to pick a color for one of them. If I moved this to the right, obviously I wouldn't want to make this a dead end as well, right? But that doesn't mean anything. I can just do this. Maybe I can think, how could I possibly make 2 shapes inside here that are the same? Like, we can't do it with, like, the loopy rules where we do an island in the middle of a sea. If I do something like this, I'll never make the shapes the same. So I've got to have the blue shape also touch the wall. I could think perhaps a radial symmetry thing, whereas every spot needs to be matched by a spot on the opposite end. So is it radial symmetry or vertical or horizontal? That's the question. Right? So horizontal symmetry is something like, let me see, horizontal symmetry, let me make an example of what that would be. I'm trying to think. Is horizontal where the line goes horizontal or where you're on two horizontal sides of a vertical line? Whatever. Let's assume that the line of symmetry is this horizontal line. It means that flipping, I would get exactly the same thing on both sides. This is an example. This might be considered vertical symmetry because you go this way, but like horizontal because the line's horizontal. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then, of course, the opposite type would be put the line here, and so you would have a symmetrical thing like that. Then the radial symmetry would be something like, I'm trying to, what would be an example I could use that would make sense here? But like, it's if you can rotate the symmetry, or rotational more so than radial. Radial might not be what we do here. Maybe I'm just really stupid. Horizontal and vertical is what I did. Rotational is where you rotate the piece like this. These two pieces are symmetrical. You rotate them. You don't flip them side to side. Although rotational can usually mean just do both flips. Radial is if it's like all directions, like this. This kind of thing. Every single direction at all times is symmetrical. So what would it be here? Because this could be a vertical symmetry thing. Like this could be the line. If this was, if I said the vertical or the horizontal, whichever one it is, if that's the line of symmetry, right? If it goes through there, that means whatever's on this side here has to be here. If it goes through, yeah, if this was like the red side, so to speak, the red comes in through here, that means the blue also has to come in through there. Or do I just start by going opposite sides? Like this piece has to go to the opposite end and then the opposite. So opposite side horizontally, then opposite side vertically, which would go here, and I would put the blue here. Like maybe that's the thing we're supposed to do. I haven't met a single puzzle in this game where this is the way you solve it. So this is just a new type of solve that's been introduced with no way to know. But if that's the case, we'd have to do this. We'd have to do that. Which would mean what? We'd still have to make a guess. Even though this is all guess that I've done. We still have to make another one. Now, either this direction or that direction. We actually couldn't take it this way, which means we couldn't take this that way because then the straightaway doesn't work, which means that the corner goes here and like that, right? Like I'm just saying this is a rotational / radial, whatever it is, symmetry. Like so, which means we'd have to do this wall. I'm just going to go with this. This piece can't be red because then we'd have two walls, so we have to take these. Now, we could go this way with, oops, both of these pieces. Or we could take, say it's red across, like so. Well, we know that red is on the opposite side of this, and we can't have checkerboards because of the way these rules go, so we have to make red like so. This will actually get me somewhere, so I hope this is how you're supposed to solve the puzzle, because it seems like I can make inferences by doing this. Just kind of feels like, I feel like I'm cheating if this is correct. It feels like cheating because we've never done this in a puzzle before. Right? This is far too late in the game to do a new, right? Like even though I want new stuff in the game, I don't want it to be, here's an entirely new way of solving puzzles that you haven't thought of yet. Because then it just feels like I needed to do my homework before going into this game. Because the only reason I'm even thinking to try a symmetry thing like this is because of other puzzles in other games I've done. This game has not prepared me for this at all. If I were to go... Well, if I were to say that this piece here is red, we'd have to do that, and then we would have to do it here, because that's the symmetrical position. We'd have to do that. Which would mean these two are symmetrical. They can't be blue because then we have checkerboard. So all of this would have to be red, which would force this one to be red. That's red. And now what is happening here? So far, nothing has changed. Now, if I said this is blue, nothing happens at all because we don't have an answer. So I'm not making a guess because it's a guess that gets me further. I suppose If we took this with blue, it would be like so. And now this dead end would mean something. We could take it with blue like so. But now we would need red on that side, which would mean blue would have to be like that, and red would have to be like this, right? And so if we took blue here, we would take blue there, which would mean this has to be blue, which is that. Is this okay? Then both of these would have to be blue to avoid a checkerboard, which would make a dead end there, so no. So if I did this straightaway, we would have to take red. And then we'd have to make all of this red. So far, so good. Let's see if I can get to that by making these red. If I do this, then blue could go here if we want, which would make blue here, which would also put blue there. And would avoid the checkerboard, we have to make both of these blue. Now, is this a problem? Blue has to go... Blue has to go here because it has to go there. No, it has to go there. Sorry. That's the spot. But we want to avoid checkerboarding. So if this is red, for instance, this would have to also be red, which it can't be. So this would have to be blue. That would have to be blue. I'm trying to break this with blue. That's what I'm trying to do. Well, hold on, let's keep that. We know that this would be the case because it's on the opposite side of that. So this can't be blue. This would have to be red. We'd have to have red here. It'd be a dead end, which means blue is here and there, which is a problem because now we'd have a checkerboard there. So let's back up for a second to where we were before and say what we're guessing at, so to speak. It's not so much guessing. We're trying to break the puzzle, but it's going so far and it feels like a guess. Is that if I say that's the straightaway here, that this can't be blue, it still has to be red, which means that no matter which way I do this puzzle, this is red, these two are connected, that means this is all red. So, do we still have blue through or red through? Now, the trouble with red through is now our blues can't connect to each other, which is going to break the puzzle. So blue's got to go through. This can't be right, because we're not going to make a piece that's the same shape. Unless I'm the biggest idiot ever. Let's back up to the beginning. We're going to do the same thing we're doing here. But now, what I've done with the colors is wrong. I need to put the blue on the outside here and the red on the inside. So now I have to think of them. I'm not going to think of them as blue and red. I'm going to think of them as... So red is going to connect here to red. Blue is going to connect to blue. But I'm going to use different colors. I'm going to use... Since this color will connect to here, I'm going to make it that. And I make this orange. Because that way I know that they're not the same, I guess. I don't know if that's going to help. I'm trying to do a way to make sure that when I do a thing to red, I don't do a thing to red, I do it to blue. So now I have to think a little harder about this. I think I'm going to run into the same issue. So if I bend this up, our straightaway won't work. So I can't bend that down. That's got to be this way. We got to go there. So that's going to put red here. It's going to put blue there to avoid checkerboarding. We're going to have to do all of this. Now that means we can't put red here. Breaking. So that's got to be like so. Maybe this is how you do it. And now we're going to have a totally different issue in the centerpiece. So let's start all over with that logic. Can I do it? So, I guess it's back to this straightaway. We're either going to take it in or we're going to take it that way. Now, if we take it in like so, then the question is, do we do opposite or same color here? If I do same color, we have that. We also have to put this here and that there, which is going to force that and that, which is going to force this to be the same as that. And now this is not a checkerboard threat at all. This seems fine. go back. If I did opposing colors here, this is now that. We have to do this here. We have to take that, so it has to take, oops, this. Again, no thread of checkerboarding here. Huh. I don't know what to do with that. Let's try. I mean, I'm looking at it. I can keep trying stuff, but since this is not like guessing in the sense that I'm trying to solve the puzzle with it, it's sort of a, let me see if I can figure something out by doing this. I reached a point where I'd have to do that again, and if you're piling a guess on top of the guess, it's bad. Don't ever do that. So if I go this way instead, what do I gain for this? This is a little bit clearer. If I say same color, we do this bit. We have to take that piece. And then what? I'm not worried about that. I'm also not worried about this because these pieces can cut through in any way. If I said opposite colors, I'm still doing this at this point, so like that, we gotta take that. It's a little bit more strict, but not really. I think maybe I gotta look somewhere else because this is guesses on top of guesses on top of guesses. Maybe this dead end means something? This dead end would put it here. And then we would have to have that, which would put all of this around. And it would put all of this around. Now, what would that mean? Doesn't seem to mean anything. If I were to block this in, though, now, would I have a way to connect the pieces? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so, because we have the same issue with going around the edges. There can only be one really changeover with edges. Like if I were to put, ignoring everything else I've just done here, we got red on the edge and blue on the edge. If I put blue on the edge here, I got to put blue on all of the edge, which means that if I do this dead end here, I have to have red here and I have to have blue here, and I have to connect them like so. You can't just stick something in the middle. We'd have to do it this way. Which does what? Doesn't seem to have any sort of thing. Again, this is like, this could be it. Or we could say, because I'm just in guess land, we could say that's the opposite color. Now if this is the opposite color here, and this is red, do we get any inference from that? Well, here we can get more because now this piece has to move that way, which means that has to move. Does that give me anything? It means we have to take these pieces. But we still don't get anything from, because we still now have to build on it with another guess, is I guess what I'm going at. I need to work out like X, Y, Z can't happen. So like I would love to say that we can't do it this way. What would be the reason we can't do it this way? This can move only one direction. Now, if this dead end moves anywhere but left, right? If like I move it this way, it puts the other color here, which means all of this would happen. All of this would happen. And now we'd have to take that space. Have to take that space. We can't take this as red. It blocks us in, right? We can't do it this way. So it has to go in through that way. We'd have to do that. We'd have to take this piece, this piece. Red would have to at least be that one, which is this one. This gets a, like this particular dead end guess gets us a lot of pieces. Has to be that. But it doesn't necessarily solve the puzzle for us. We still have to make a guess there. We can't make that blue, so this would be red, which means that would be red. It means this would be blue over here. Yeah, we're still guessing. It's still entirely a guess. But if I did a dead end up here, right? I said it has to, because if it moves left, then we just fill in, right? But then we would have to fill around it like so, which would force us to put red there and blue here. Blue would be there. Then what? We could still put red there and then all the way around, or we could get blue going all the way around. This spot either is like that or that. And then here we either take these or those. It can't be this, right? If we make this decision, we actually, because of this straightaway here. So if we take this, that one would work because we can bring through in either side, but we'd be stuck with that. Now here, well, if we went this way, we'd have to do red. In fact, we just have to do red here, so let's do that. So if we do coming through, can we make an inference from that? No. Can we make an inference the other way? Doesn't look like it. Like, these are all wonderful little guesses, but since they're not getting me anywhere, it means that if I go with them, I have to go all the way. I have to just continue guessing my way through the entire puzzle. Which, already, this is a guess on how to solve it. It probably is the correct way, but it's definitely the type of thing that the game hasn't ever made me do before, so it just feels like I'm cheating. It doesn't feel good. Is there anything I can do? Again, if I just assume this sort of thing, I have to do that. The other way, I have to do this. I have to take those. Well, if I do the dead end, right? We already worked out we'd have to do it this way. We wouldn't get any further than that. If I put something here and said we go all the way around, we would then have to go all the way around with the blue. But this is a guess. This is just a guess that fills in a bunch of spaces, which gives me, for instance, a red there and a blue there, but doesn't really tell me anything else. Because it could easily just be that. In fact, it could easily be this. This would be something you could do. This would be something you could do. That could be something. At which point, if it's this, it would have to be that. And then it would have to be this. Which would... Alright, it means the only way through is this piece here, but it's all just guessing. That's what this all is. Yeah, I'm just very disappointed with this type of puzzle because I don't feel smart. The one inference I think I made here, I feel like I had to bring in outside knowledge to do it. I had to know how to do this kind of thing from something I didn't do in game. And then everything else after that point, I feel like I've got to guess. And as I say in every video until everyone wants to fucking kill me, if I feel like I have to guess anywhere in the puzzle, then the entire puzzle's a guess. If I make 100 logical moves in one guess, the entire puzzle was done by guessing. That's just what it is. That's just how puzzles work. So, can I do something here that doesn't require guessing? The game seems to think so. It was up front with me early on in the game, like, you don't have to guess at any puzzle. Just a dumb move. Never say that. If you're a game designer, never tell players how they're supposed to solve your puzzles. Let them solve it however they want, and then when they ask if that was correct, you say yes. That's what you do. Just fucking lie. Okay, if I take this here, then the question becomes, what is this color? Now, if this is the same color, we don't get anything from it because any of these could be, the wall could go anywhere here. If it's the opposite color, then we have to take these. Is there any world in which these aren't all the same piece? Like, this is the opposite color, right? Then we have to take these four as one big block. Is there any way not to? So if I took this here, is there any way this is blue? I suppose so. because I can just put a wall anywhere here. I can do it this way and then that's blue. But most of the solutions I've seen have done a block like that. If I go the other way, this is a little bit more restrictive. If I take blue in here, I've got to take that like so, and then do the block. If I take red in here, then it's got to be like that, and then take the block. So either way, the straightaway goes, if that's the straightaway, if this is it, then that's for sure. The only way to not do that is with this shape. That's the only way to not make these the same color. So can I get something out of this? Let me try another tack. Maybe this is the way I'm supposed to do it. What if I made a dead end here? That would be this space here. Doing so would force a red piece here, which would force all of these to be red, and then it would force all of these to be blue. Could this work? It would also force red there and blue here, which doesn't help me with the straightaway problem. Huh. Does this help at all? This could easily be red. This could easily be a blue doing that. Oh, no. But this has to be red. Oh, no. This can't be it. Because we have to do this. And then this breaks every single thing in the puzzle. They all completely shatter like glass. So this is where I was supposed to look. I guess I was supposed to see that magically. Okay. Like, this is the correct sort of way to solve a puzzle. You look for a thing, you look for what it does, you go make the inference. But I'm finding that I don't know where to look to do that thing. So you saw me try 8 or 9 things until I found something that worked. I don't feel smart for finding this because it was just brute force. I was just trying everything. Other puzzles, I can look at the puzzle and go, aha, this spot right here. I should look there and figure something out. I'll feel smart if I do that. I don't feel smart by trying every single one until something yields an answer. That's what I had to do here. So this was the place to look, was this particular dead end. But now that I know it's the opposite color, I still don't know anything. So I guess if I take the straightaway up here, I know it now curves, which means this would be how it goes. So far, so good. And I get nothing from that. I would have opposite colors here, which doesn't tell me much. If I take this, well, I guess now because I took this dead end, then any solution I have has these all be the same color, right? Right? Because then they have to go in. Whereas if I made it the same, we still go in, no matter what we do. So if I take all that out and say, no, we haven't decided on that yet. If we go the other way, we still have this thing or that thing. So now for sure, these are the same color and these are the same color. So I guess the direction of this dead end is important. If I move it left, I think we're gonna have the same issue if I move this dead end left. So we can't move it left because then we have to do this. We would have to do the same on the other side. This looks janky as hell. And then this would all have to be blue, and this would all have to be red. There you go. Doesn't work. So that is that. So we know this now has to be the opposite color. So the question is, which direction does this go? If we said down, it's up here. And then we have to go around, which isn't going to happen. Right? Because if we go through here, we have to do that. Yeah. So if I do it this way, I come in this way. Can I do it the other way? I think so. But either way, I think what we can determine from this is that the dead end moves into the center somehow. Now, if I made the other dead end here, it doesn't break. It just means I would have to... But since I know this goes around. Now, if I did this going here, I would also need to bring this around like so. Which still doesn't answer whether... Oh, this has to be the opposite color now. This has to be like that. Which means what? this has to be red, so we'd have to bring it around like this, and that actually works. Dang it, this fucking works. So this would have to be it. I'd really like it if this broke. Can I break this? This actually would need to be red. We need to bring it all the way around. This needs to now be blue. This all just works. This would be red here. That would be blue. That means this is blue, so we got to bring that around. This can go like that. No, if we go here, then this would be red. Because blue would make it not a dead end, and then we couldn't put anything up here, because we couldn't put red there. So this has to be red, and it has to go up and down, which means the opposite here is blue going like that. This could be red, but it could be blue. Now this has to be red, so now this has to be blue. Which means this can't be red, this has to be blue. And that's gotta be red. That's gonna be blue, that's gotta be red. This might just be the answer. So if this was that, we'd have this here, and we'd be done. So like... I'm not going to say this is the shit puzzle. It's not like some of the other ones I've seen. Because, like, it has the logical path through it, but I really feel like I had to bring in outside knowledge to do that. It's the type of thing that anyone who's done this particular kind of puzzle a lot knows that that is the principle for how to solve it. But if you've just played this game, you don't know that that's the principle to use to solve it. So I started with a guess. The very first move was, what if I do a radial symmetry or whatever this is called, and I just flip whatever these pieces are to the other side? And I built it off of that. But building it off of that wasn't me knowing what to do. Again, going back to the, do I see in my mind what the solution looks like? Do I have a vision? And I didn't really have a vision for that. It was just assuming. It's like if I've never seen a door before and I were to say, imagine, if you will, that something called a key exists, and keys can go in locks that will open doors. And like, I'd be correct with that assumption, but I would feel like I was making an assumption. And that's a great thing to do early in a puzzle game to teach you the principles in an earlier one, but we're at the very end of the game. So when I'm doing that, I kind of feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm guessing. I feel like there probably was another way to solve it that I didn't see, and now I just kind of feel dumb. I don't know. So I'm just very dissatisfied with that, even though there isn't technically anything wrong with the puzzle on its own. In fact, 90% of the puzzles in this game don't have anything wrong with them on their own. They just don't work in this game. Like if you were to just go to penpa.com. I think I said this one before, but I love repeating myself, and everyone loves listening to my stories over and over again. Just ask anyone. If you go to like penpa.com and then create a puzzle that does this exact thing, right? That's fine. You're making a standalone sort of puzzle, but if you package them all into a game that's supposed to have a progression and a theme and all this kind of stuff, it ends up feeling very, very unfocused. Because, like, how am I supposed to get around solving these? Like, am I supposed to be a puzzle genius coming into this and I know all the principles already? Or are you going to teach them to me like every other game does? That's usually how they work, is they teach what you're supposed to do. And if they require you to make some inference on your own, they provide the layers that you need to reach that inference early on, so that when you see the hard puzzle, you can reach back into your experience and go, oh, I've done this before, this is how it goes. I'm actually going to use Portal as an example. So there's like the double fling technique in Portal, where you can drop into one portal, and then as you fall out of the second one, you drop a third portal, and using the extra momentum from that first one, you can fly even further. And at the beginning of the game, well, really for the first 2/3 of the game, every time you're supposed to do a portal fling, there's a very particular sign on the floor. Like the floor tiles do a very particular thing, and there's a very particular thing up on the high wall, so you know what to do. Later in the game, they remove those signs, but you've done enough of the puzzle early on where they gave it to you that it's entrenched into your brain that this is a skill that you have, and the game says, we trust you now with that skill. Whereas the puzzle I just did feels like I jumped into a double fling end game puzzle without having done the first ones. So the fact that I figured it out is bonus points to me. Look at me, I'm so smart, I figured out the way to solve this, but it feels like I guessed to do it because I didn't know about the double fling. I didn't know that that was the solution, I was just trying shit. I think I found 27 ways to say I hate this fucking puzzle. I dislike it, but it's not bad, I just really did not like how it felt to solve. And that's way too much of this game. Way too much of this game is, you know, not like a technically bad puzzle, but feels like shit to solve. And I don't know if that's everyone else's experience, but it certainly is mine. And because the game is 1,200 puzzles long, it's given me 100 hours to think about it. If this game was shorter, if it was a 20-hour game, you had 200 puzzles in it, and there were a couple bonkers puzzles like this, and I walked away and I had, you know, a couple I didn't like, I'd be over it. I'd just be like, there's a couple that, but whatever, it's a good game. But I've had 100 hours to sit here and ruminate on every single experience I've had that's fucking shit. So, congratulations, devs. You have specifically asked me to hate your game. Don't do that. Alright, cool. I found a way to complain about good puzzles again. I did it. I did it. Everyone take a drink if that's your drinking game. I did it. Oh my god, there's still so many. Alright, well, I'll come back and finish these puzzles another time. Thanks for watching whatever the hell this is, and I'll see you around. Goodbye!